Welcome to Tap at Home. My name is Jessie and I'm a creative arts therapist with the Animation Project. And today we're going to be learning about how to make homemade clay. Now, there's lots of different recipes to choose from involving all different kinds of household ingredients. The one that I chose for today uses some of the most basic ingredients that I would say most people probably have in their homes. So stay with me and I'll take you through step by step how to make your own clay. The main ingredients we're going to be using today are flour, salt, a touch of oil. Now I'm using olive oil because that's what I happen to have in the house. You can also use baby oil, vegetable oil, and we're just going to be using a very small amount. And I also like to add just a little bit of vanilla, and as an optional ingredient you can use alum or cream of tartar. Now that's optional. It's you can make the clay with or without this. And for coloring, food coloring. So there's a variety of different colorants you can use if you don't have food coloring at home, and I'll go over after what some of the other alternatives are. Now for this recipe, you'll also need a saucepan, a container or mixing bowl, and a wooden spoon or a spatula. So to start, I am going to mix together my ingredients in a mixing bowl or a small container. So that will be 1 cup of flour and 1/3 cup salt. I usually like to mix my dry ingredients first. 2 teaspoons of alum, cream of tartar, or nothing. You don't have to use this ingredient. 1 cup water. And the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of oil. I like to use just a little bit less, about 2/3 of a tablespoon. And again, that could be baby oil, vegetable oil. I'm going to be using olive oil right now. Just a hint of vanilla syrup, mostly vanilla extract, mostly that's for the scent. So I'm going to save my food coloring for now. I'll get back into that shortly. So I'm going to mix up my ingredients. Now you could just mix up all of your ingredients right now. You don't have to use heat, but I'm going to be showing you how we're going to use heat in order to solidify. Once you have combined your ingredients, you are going to stir them together in a medium saucepan over medium heat. So you can go ahead and just add in your mixture directly in there. Make sure you really scrape the sides so you get it all in, especially since I didn't fully mix my ingredients, knowing that I would be transferring them to the. Now we are just going to keep on stirring this mixture. It's going to start off a little bit loose, and you want to make sure that you're scraping the bottom and the sides as you stir. What we're looking for is a nice firmness to sort of build up around the spoon. Eventually we're going to be going for a mashed potatoes like consistency. Now you don't always have to use heat to make homemade playdough or homemade clay. You can really just mix the ingredients and then go. However, mixing it up in a saucepan using heat and continually stirring it will provide a certain smoothness to the consistency of your clay, and it make it feel a little bit more like the kind you buy in the store. Now, once it starts to get firm, that's when I'm going to go ahead and add my colorant. So I'm going to be using food colorant because I happen to have some. If you don't have food coloring, you can use just about anything. You can mix in some paint, water-based paint. You can mix in dye if you have. Even old ink cartridges, printer ink cartridges can work. stamp pads. You can use natural ingredients such as beet juice, turmeric, let's see, spinach juice, any kind of strong colored spice or household ingredient you have can work. And if you're going to be using paint or something else that you wouldn't usually use in the kitchen, you know, you might want to protect your pans by waiting until after the clay has, after you remove the clay from the heat, and then adding it after, just so you don't get into the pan. So you'll notice my clay is really starting to thicken up now. So I'm going to lower the heat just a little bit, and I'm going to add in my food coloring. Now I'm feeling like blue today. So let's make this blue. And you really don't need much. I'm just going to add a couple squirts. Now, I don't want to overcook my clay, so once I notice that it's no longer wet and the clay is really starting to gather around the spoon in a big bunch, I'm going to remove it from the heat. I'm going to do a little touch test, make sure it's not too hot to handle, and I'm just going to knead the rest of that color in. You can store this in an airtight container in the fridge. And there we have it, your own homemade clay. Now, this is technically a recipe for homemade Play-Doh. However, you have the option to bake it, to harden it, and you can then paint it or varnish it to make any kind of ornaments, home decor, objects at home. And you could really push this to look quite sculptural. So it's used by both kids and professionals. I've made this small elephant just as an example of the types of things that you can model, and you can actually keep these objects forever by baking them on an ungreased baking tray for 30 minutes. Then you would then turn them over and bake for another 90 minutes until they're hard and dry at 250 degrees Fahrenheit or 120 degrees Celsius. And once they're cool, you can take them out. You can smooth them with fine sandpaper if you like, and then you can paint them and varnish them. Thanks so much for joining me on this clay making adventure. We want to see your work too. You can tag #TapAtHomeNYC on Instagram for a chance to be featured. Make sure you check out our other videos too. Thanks for watching. We hope you're staying safe and healthy. See you next time.